I have a special kind of love for picture books where the words are saying one thing and the pictures are doing another thing entirely, because somehow my brain just rolls with it. And I realize that that is not magic. That's layout. And when layout is done well, when words and images work like a duet, one's not background music for the other, they're co-narrators. They're telling the story together. But if the design's off, you get confusion, you get chaos, or even worse, you get a DNF. Hey, I'm Nick. This is Dr. Cranky Pants Reads, and today we're talking about how picture books use layout, both where the words are and what they're doing to shape how a story gets told. Now, to really understand this, we need to break it down into two big questions. The first being, where are the words? The second, how are they working with the pictures to tell the story? Let's start with where the words actually live on the page. This one's all about layout. Not the font, not the margin size, I mean physically. Where are the words in relation to the images? Let's start with an example that goes big and bold around adjacent layout. In Muhammad Ali, the layout does something really striking. On the left page, you get nothing but text set against this loud, energetic backdrop. On the right, a full-page portrait of Ali mid-speech, pointing right at you like you just questioned his greatness. The image and text, though, they never touch. But the energy, identical. This is what we call an adjacent layout. The words and images live on separate pages, but they're still in conversation. The rhythm is punchy, poetic. It doesn't need a caption. The layout gives both modes room to flex without either one stealing the show. Next up, let's talk about something playful. In an awesome book by Dallas Clayton, the illustrations are kind of bonkers, but in the best way. We're talking dream clouds full of rainbow mustaches, robots, and flying jellyfish. And the words, they float beside all of that chaos. They're not boxed in, not crammed between clouds. They live beside the image, with enough space to breathe. This is what we call a beside layout. The words and the images share the page but don't overlap or interact directly. They sit next to each other like good neighbors, each doing their own thing, but clearly vibing. Now let's look at a layout where the words don't just sit next to the image, they become part of it. In hide and seek, the text curls through a forest scene. Lines of dialogue tuck between branches, dance along the ground, and almost feel like they're whispering to you from inside the shadows. That's an integrated layout, where the placement of the words is part of the storytelling. It isn't just what the text says, it's where it lives that shapes the tone and pace of the scene. Now that we've looked at where the words go, let's talk about what they do. When we talk about image-text relationships, we're asking, how do the words and pictures interact? Are they working together? Are they arguing? Are they leaning on each other? Here's one where the words and pictures are teammates. In Verity by Janelle Cannon, we meet a young yellow snake who does not want to grow up to be green and boring. The text tells us what Verity is thinking and feeling, but the illustration? It shows the body language of the older snakes, coiled, tense, judging a little bit. This is a complementary relationship. The words tell one part of the story, while the pictures add emotion, nuance, or humor the words don't carry on their own. This next one is built on tension, and it's hilarious. In Dear Mrs. LaRue by Mark Teague, we read letters from a dog named Ike who's sent to obedience school. According to Ike, it's horrible. He's suffering. It's basically a prison. But the pictures? They tell a different story. Ike's lounging in a spa, being served croissants, getting massages. The more dramatic his letters get, the more ridiculous the illustrations become. That's a contrasting relationship, one where the words say one thing and the pictures say another. It creates irony, humor, and a terrific opportunity to talk about tone. This one hits emotionally. In The Longest Storm by Dan Yaccarino, the text is sparse. Words like, "then it got worse," or "it felt like it would never end." But the illustrations show the claustrophobia of a family trapped inside together. Cluttered rooms, rising tension, everyone retreating to their corner. Here, the picture carries the emotional weight. The words give us the structure. It's an enhanced relationship where the image elevates what's being said, filling in the gaps and amplifying the tone. And finally, the one where the images do it all. Tuesday by David Weisner is practically wordless. The only text? Timestamps like Tuesday evening, around 8. And what happens? Frogs flying on lily pads, through neighborhoods, past windows, around confused humans. It's surreal, it's strange, and completely visual. This is a completely dependent relationship where the story can't be told without the images. The text is minimal, but the storytelling is rich and complete because of the art. So what did we cover? Where the words are, adjacent, besides, or integrated, and what the words do, complement, contrast, enhance, or depend entirely on the image. Our understanding about layout and image-text relationships doesn't just make kids better readers. It makes them better thinkers. They learn to interpret, infer, and read with their whole brain. So the next time you open up a picture book, ask yourself, are the words and pictures side by side or fused into one scene? Are they telling the same story or are they each doing their own thing? Because once students learn to answer those questions, they're not just decoding text, they're analyzing story design. And that's some real literacy power. See you in the next one.